we have Sydney at the top and defensive tackle. Is that just more size, better play? Where are you?
Better play, but you saw how many guys rotated, so they're going to all play. But we're really encouraged by Sid. I mean, Sid is about a 300-pound guy that, you know, he's a redshirt freshman and certainly did a good job. I thought not New Mexico, but Washington State had a good offensive line, and you know there was good push by he and Uso, and so Sid played well.
See Boyland and Jackson and Orr. Is that, you know? I know they rotated too,
Right.
and that was that. Just,
Well, they did a little bit, but a lot of that, by and large, was Troy didn't practice very much last week, and so we were uncomfortable with, you know, the number of repetitions that he had during the week of practice, and then getting ready to play. And he went in and played okay. I thought he played adequate. Caden came in and competed really well. He went the wrong way once or twice, but for a freshman, you're going to have some of that. So we were pleased with how Caden competed, and so we'll look at those two guys during the course of this week and make a determination.
Coach Cam Coffin made some nice throws on Saturday. Do you feel like he's getting more comfortable in that offense?
Well, we certainly do. We thought he played better than what he did against University of North Dakota. I think his numbers bear that out. He also had better mobility than what we had thought. You know, I wouldn't say he was 100% with his knee, but he was awfully close. But you still don't know how he's going to really be able to elude the rush and get into some other receivers. And he played well. He'll need to come out and play a little bit better this week. Obviously, the one interception did hurt us, and so he's going to learn from that. But we were pleased with Cam's performance.
Coach, Brian Hill's now been two in a row with 100-plus yards and 6 of his last 8 or whatever. Is this pretty much what you expected from him? Or are you pleased with his play so far?
We're very pleased, and you know, there was some good job blocking by our offensive line. However, I think there's a lot of yards Brian made on his own. I mean, he improvised. He did some nice jobs cutting back, utilized his stiff arm. He's got good speed. He's a powerful runner. I don't know. I think he was in that game. I think he got about 7 yards a carry. The game before was 11 yards a carry. So there's a consistent theme there. We certainly are going to continue to play Sean. We're going to need to have 2 tailbacks, but Brian's emerging as a very, very talented tailback, and I don't know how he's going to stack up with other runners in our league, but from my perspective, he's done very well. I think he's got a very bright future. Long term, I think he's got a really bright future. We're well pleased with him.
you look at New Mexico. I know they like to run it or has liked to run it. A lot of option stuff. I see they're playing 2 quarterbacks. Are they doing some different things? What are you seeing from them offensively, I guess?
Well, similar to stuff that what they did last year. However, some of the sets have changed, Robert. I mean, they've been pretty creative. Bob DeBest is a guy that I've known for probably 25 years. And his background really started, he was a quarterback at what is now Texas State, and they ran a split back beer for Jim Wacker, and he went on to be a quarterback coach at TCU. And so his understanding of option football is extensive, and he was at Sam Houston State also during those years we were at NDSU, and so I think they've been very creative with their offense. It's a little bit of a change of pace having 2 quarterbacks in there, but their offense really doesn't change drastically, and so but it does pose a problem for us. A lot of different movements, a lot of different moving parts. Some of the shotgun game, quarterback zone reads there, but then along with that you see elements of triple option, and so that really stretches you on defense anytime the quarterback's a weapon like that. And then not only a weapon, just all the different movements. That's going to be a great challenge for our defense.
When you say that, I mean, obviously when you play teams like that, everyone needs to do their assignments, and I guess anyone you play, but is that the big key for the defense this week, is assignment sound, or when you see all that stuff, what are the biggest keys for your defense?
Couple things. First of all, you hit the nail on the head. You need to be assignment bound. We also need to have a great pursuit because typically somebody will miss a tackle. And while we made great strides last week in tackling, the biggest factor was we had guys in correct pursuit angles that many times the first guy missed the tackle, but there were 2 or 3 other guys that were there. And so along with being assignment bound, we need to have great pursuit and great pursuit angles to prevent big plays.
Coach, you begin conference play this Saturday. Is it almost like a clean slate when you start conference play?
Yeah, there's a thought process there. Our players certainly enjoy playing in our conference, and you understand that the quote preseason's over. However, let's not have rose-colored glasses on. We came out and we had 2 really poor performances, and then last week we played better but lost. So we're 0-3. What we have done as a football team is taken each week, and each week's a new slate. And so while there's great optimism because we're in conference play, our main goal right now is to take another step forward to improve as a football team. So we look at the University of New Mexico. We go in and we're challenged by what they do on offense and defense in the kicking game. But our main focus is, what do the Cowboys need to do to get better? What do we need to do to put one step in front of the other with a young football team with sprinkled in some veteran players, and that's our main goal right now.
Would you be able to expand on that? What do you guys need to do to get better as you enter?
Sure. Well, first of all, defensively, we need to prevent big plays, and that's going to cut down our yardage. I think we need to do a better job of creating turnovers. We were able to get 1 interception last week, but we didn't generate any forced fumbles. However, the 4th down stop, you could equate that as a turnover, but we need to create more turnovers. On offense, I think we need to continue to run the ball better, control the line of scrimmage. We need to develop more wide receivers than just 2. When I say just 2, I think Jake and Tanner have played great, but we'll need to have more play out of our other receivers. And we need to stay on the field more offensively. And, I thought we made strides in the kicking game. When I say kicking game, the biggest thing that we were pleased with there was, we had some good kickoff returns. We weren't starting backed up. I thought we did a good job covering kicks. Where we need to improve is our place kicking. We've gotten the art of kicking extra points down. Now we got to get to the point where we can kick a field goal, and that's our next challenge.
Coach, after 3 losses like that, how do you keep the guys motivated to come back to practice after those?
A lot of that comes down to your older players, and while we don't have very many, we've asked a lot of those guys like Cam and Eddie and OC, and Sean, to go out there and have a good attitude on Monday. And when you have a young football team, as we do, I think it's really important that you challenge your players, but you find the good things that they're doing and build on those positive things and encourage them to take one game at a time. And don't look in the rearview mirror, look ahead. And those are key elements in building a program and moving a football program forward. I thought while the scoreboard didn't indicate a win last week, there was improvements in our football team, and that started on Monday's practice, and we'll continue that this week.
Craig, how I don't see Nestus. Is he still in the protocol? Is that could you get him back this week, or do you know his status?
You know what, I would say it's going to be doubtful. We'll look at it. He's still got some last week, at the end of last week, he still had some symptoms. And so where he's going to be at on that protocol list, Robert, I'll find out a lot more today. But right now, we'll plan on having Zach out there until otherwise noted.
How's everything else? Any other injury news? Is there?
No, you know what? That game, we came off it really healthy. Cam was a little sore after the game, but he felt significantly better than he did last week. This time Eddie felt better, so that was a bright spot. There was no MASH injury report when I walked in the locker room.
I know you haven't talked about it, but what are the Lobos doing defensively this year, Coach?
Well, they've operated on a 3-down look, a lot of different pressures. And they got very aggressive against Arizona State and caused some problems. And I thought they bowed up. The ball moved a little bit, but Arizona State would get down in the red zone. They came up with a couple plays. You know, they're an athletic football team. They ask a lot of their corners, but they have good players there. You know, the first couple games, you know, I think they're trying to find that Mississippi Valley is a team that we know a little bit about, but Tulsa was a competitive game. They operated on a hurry-up offense, and this will be a little bit interesting to see how they adjust to more of a pro-style offense.
Craig, I know you talked about, you know, Granderson at defensive end. You had Prosser back there, and you know, an undersized kid, but got a sack. I mean, I know it's a work in progress, but are you pleased with their progress, and do you anticipate keeping Kevin there, at least for the time being, at defensive
No,
end?
I think he's going to have a long-term career there, and a lot of it is just adding more speed and athleticism. You know, for him to come up with a sack, I mean, he hunted that quarterback down and sucked him up pretty good, and that's an element that is going to be important for us to develop. Carl Granderson's the same way. So, you know, while they're undersized, they've got a big heart, and you can do a lot with that, and they can run. And so that's just part of an emerging program. Would we like them to be 25 pounds heavier? Yes, they're not, but they are playing hard, and we're going to continue to keep them there.
Did you anticipate moving Prosser to defensive end when you recruited him, or
No.
was
No, he was going to be a linebacker, and but sometimes in our system, some of our, you know, there's a guy named Kyle Manuel who's playing a lot of great football with the Chargers right now. He came in as a linebacker with defensive end. We were looking for more athletic, speed defensive ends, and so when we came down, we lost a couple guys. We looked at what Kevin could bring, and it was great to see him go out there. He was not intimidated. He's been a good special teams player, and it was good to see him make some plays.
Coach, your place kicking, obviously, still looking for that first field goal.
Yeah,
What is your
had
assessment?
one, but there was a penalty on it.
Yeah.
So.
What is your overall assessment been? Have you considered making any changes at all?
No, we're going to continue to work with Tristan. You know, I think he's a true freshman, and sometimes just to get through the fact, you know, your fundamentals are all fine on an extra point, and you split the uprights, and then you move it back a little bit. It's still the same kick and the same, you know, fundamentals. Unfortunately, he's got a little bit of a, you know, mental block. When he scoots back a little bit, all of a sudden everything changes, and that's something we're working really hard at practice. We're confident we can make progress there.